So after 45 years, turns out that's where it's buried. Like, it's worth millions, absolutely millions, and they've been looking for it for 4.5 decades. And yeah, that's where it is. I mean, look it up. Are we on?
No, but you don't want to tell too many people about that, do you?
Well, no. And I think we're on, aren't we? Are we on?
Yes.
Are we on? Is that red light? It means we're on.
Yeah,
okay.
Okay, right, okay.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it, as always.
Or pressing play, either or.
Yes. Oh, yeah, cool, yeah. So
You've been on the radio all morning.
Yeah.
You've been on the radio all morning. That's what that is.
You're not tuned in at all, have you? You've literally pressed a button, you lazy people. You didn't even have to tune in. You literally just... We arrived in your inbox... And you press play.
What? Where is this going?
I don't know.
Everyone's
so
lazy
tired.
and we're arriving in people's inboxes. This is questionable content. I'll be on to Ofcom, I tell you.
Right.
I'm John Brown.
That's getting cut.
Oh, do you want to start? Can we start over?
No. Let's keep going.
You want to get over? Okay, all right.
I like it that people think we're mad, or especially I'm mad anyway.
You're just tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm John Brown.
I'm Paul Marsh.
And this is We're Gonna Need a Bigger Pod, which is a sometimes strange but often amusing look at everything that's going on in the world of film, across cinema and Blu-ray and DVD and streaming and everything else. News, reviews... It's all here. That's what you come here for. I'm sure that's what you come here for. I like to think that's what you come here for, but probably you're just coming here to hear us make idiots of ourselves. And if you're coming for that, that's good too. Thank you so much for all your support over the last 3 or 4 episodes. If you do want to know more, well, this is episode 4, isn't it? See, this is how many. I've lost track already. If you do want to know more about us, by all means, on socials, Paul.
At Paul Swampy Marsh across all social media.
At John Brown TV, that's Jon Brown TV, at John Brown TV. I'm on all socials as well. And if you want to follow the pod, if you haven't done so already, it's at Need a Bigger Pod. Do like, subscribe, retweet, do all those wonderful things that the youth of today do today.
Oh my God. You sound so old.
I feel so old. How do you not, especially after the day you've had, how do you not feel old?
Coffee. Coffee.
Oh, I see.
Coffee is my friend. Coffee is my friend.
Do you know what? That sugary can of soft drink that I'm not going to say the name of. Don't do that. Oh, no, that's a thing.
Is that as bad as popping?
I think I've got that thing. I think I've got that. I can't remember what it's called.
I think you've got that thing as well.
I can't remember what it's called.
Have you seen the doctor about it?
I don't know what it's called. But anyway, when someone eats and you hear them chewing.
Masticating.
You hear them masticating.
Yeah.
Masticating. It's very different. No, anyway.
Yeah.
So and you hear them, and then you hear of these people that when they hear other people chew, they want to just annihilate an entire city. I think I've got that because whenever anyone goes, I go, no, don't
even
do that.
Even
that,
the over.
Oh no, please no. But no, going back to my point, I'm going to go and see a doctor. On the way out,
soon.
I'm going to take that can of cold, fizzy, sugary drink that we won't say the name of until they give us some money. And then maybe after this next bit, I might be even more lively than I already am or am not. What's going on? Paul, what's happening in the world?
And breathe. Right, so we're going to be looking at news. We've obviously got a couple of trailers to discuss. The big thing we are talking about...
There are 2 other big things. 2 other big things? There's lots of big things, actually. We've got Scream 6 to talk about this week,
Scream
which
6
we've
to
seen.
talk about. I'm going to very briefly talk about Creed 3 because you spoke about it last week. I watched it on the Friday, so I'm going to just briefly.
Yeah, we'll come to that. And also, we got Tyler Bates and Lola Colette on the show as well. A little sampler of what's to come from the next score or the next couple of scoreheads. So, there's so much.
And then we are doing our top 5 of films from 1989.
What a year. Amazing. See, that's what you've got to stay tuned for. So stay tuned or listening, either or. It works just as well. And let's start with the news.
Okay, so looking at Creed 3, that's hit $100 million worldwide in its first weekend.
Yes, Michael B. Jordan. Yes, mate.
It 100% deserves it. It really, really does.
Yeah, it does. I really love it. I love it. And I've seen it twice now. You saw it with me on my second go. Yeah, so you saw it on my second go. And you loved it. I think it's been doing, I understand, well, as we can see, the box office figures speak for themselves. It's been doing incredible business. It's been keeping cinemas busy, which is what we love. That's what it's about. Keeping cinemas busy, keeping cinemas open, the theatrical experience. We were talking about that last night, weren't we, about the shared experience. We'll come back to that when we talk about Scream. But yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. It's a great story. Hearing that news that it's made that much money almost is like life imitating art, isn't it? Because it's the journeyman's story in the movie about Creed and his journey, and here we are looking at Michael B. Jordan's journey as an actor and a director, and that's a great kickoff.
So the great thing also about that is, for those type of numbers, usually you're looking at your superhero films and franchise and IPs and all of that type of stuff. So for Creed 3 to be getting over $100 million worldwide on one weekend just speaks volumes about everything there.
So yeah, it's the strongest opening for a Rocky movie ever, because it's still part of the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
I believe it was the strongest opening, certainly the strongest opening for a Creed movie in its opening weekend. And I think it was the most successful opening for a film ever by a black director.
Wow.
So that is all good news. All good news.
Now, going from the present to the future, Aaron Taylor-Johnson has been announced as joining Robert Eggers' Nosferatu.
Oh, I'm so excited
I am proper excited about this.
So hyped.
And if you weren't excited about this already, listen to this cast list so far, okay? Allegedly, this is going to begin filming, like, imminently.
I want to know, is Ralph Ineson in it?
Yes.
Of course he is. So him and Robert Eggers work together on everything. I interviewed Ralph about something else altogether, but we got talking about The Witch and how much Ralph loved Robert's direction, how much he loved being part of that film. How I still think it's a grand horror, like it sits on a folk horror scale, like of champions, a table of champions. And so I noticed ever since he pops up with Robert Eggers a lot, and I guess like now he's Robert Eggers' lucky charm, I guess. But Ralph Ineson, to make that voice, I would do anything for that voice. That voice is amazing. But
of course it's going to be very interesting, because the original, which was 1934, I want to say, was it 34? Before that?
I think you're right. You've got all the screens.
Something like that.
You've got all the screens.
I've got a different screen up, so I can't look right now. So the rest of the cast list at the moment, as we've mentioned, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, also Willem Dafoe, Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, and Bill Skarsgård. Yeah,
Willem Dafoe's another one that again, I would say is like Robert Eggers' lucky charm, because he appears a lot in Robert Eggers' movies. He was in Northman, wasn't he?
1922.
And The Lighthouse.
Sorry, 1922 was the original Nosferatu, which of course was completely silent. So how this is going to adapt is going to be really, really interesting.
If it was any other director, I do that thing that I do, that you know that I do, when I go, but it's Robert Eggers, man, and he's made a witch movie, and that went real well.
Very good.
Now he's making a vampire movie based on the greatest screen vampire of them all, and that cast and that director.
I mean, if the Northman is anything to go by.
Wow, what a film that is.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes,
really
please.
Amazing.
Yes, please, Robert Eggers. I want it in my eyes now. Thank you, please. Thank you, Robert Eggers. You legend.
Right, so looking at trailers, a new trailer just dropped.
I don't know why that needed.
No, I don't know why that happened. So the new trailer just dropped for Ghosted, which is coming to Apple TV Plus.
Right.
Or Apple Plus TV, sorry. I got that all mixed up, didn't I?
Yeah, you dropped this in literally before we came in, so tell me all about it.
So it's coming out on April 21st, so we don't have too long to wait for it.
Too
long. And it features Chris Evans and Ana de Armas.
Okay.
How's that for a cast list?
Give me the byline. What's going on?
So, I'm not entirely sure how, but Chris Evans meets Ana de Armas, and they spend, I believe, like 24 hours together. And they have the time of their lives. They have the best first date ever. Everything goes really, really well. We'll keep in touch. We'll see you soon. And then... nothing.
Hence Ghosted, right?
Hence
I'm with you.
Ghosted. He texts her, nothing. He calls her, nothing. you know, in the trailer, you see his phone and his text and his text.
Oh,
and
he's
his
that.
text,
He's turned
and
into
his
that
text,
guy.
and he's getting nothing. And he's talking to his friends, and he says, "What am I supposed to do?" And like most of the friends are like, "Bro, you've been ghosted.
You've over-egged this, mate.
Yeah,
like, scared. If you hadn't been ghosted, you've scared her away."
Exactly. So he figures out. I can't remember why or how, but he figures out where she is. I think he sees a post or something.
Stalker!
And I think he figures out that she's in London or something like that. And he does what every sane, rational person does. He goes to meet her.
In another country.
To a person who's not talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally what I'd do. Totally.
And he then...
I'm shaking my head.
He then gets abducted. And then Ana de Armas comes to the rescue because I believe... I'm going to get this wrong. I believe she's CIA or FBI or something like that, which is why she has been ghosting him, because she's been on a mission and hasn't been able to get back to him. And he is now completely embroiled in all of everything that's going on.
Oh, I like this.
And they're on an adventure to save the world.
Any word?
She ghosted him.
I bet she isn't even seeing your texts.
She does travel a lot for work.
Go to her.
I'm going to London. See, you get it. It's a grand romantic gesture.
Yeah, that is amazing, mate. 5,000 miles to surprise a girl who you've only met once, especially if she's the one who ghosted you.
No, she didn't ghost me. She just doesn't have an international calling plan.
It sounds bonkers.
Yes.
I kind of feel like I've seen it now you've told me it. But I do like the gender flip there.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
I like that. I like the gender flip there. That could work really well. And she's a capable action star, more than capable action star.
I think she's
proved
phenomenal.
This, especially like in No Time to Die and stuff. Like the thing about No Time to Die is I wanted to see way more of her character.
Yeah, well, there was rumours of spin-offs and various other things, wasn't there? Also,
nice.
Just to throw in a couple of other names of people that are in this, Adrian Brody and Tim Blake Nelson and Tate Donovan are all in this as well.
So this is due when to Apple TV Plus?
April 21st.
April 21st, Apple TV Plus. There we go. All right. What's next on the slate?
So next on the trailer slate is The Blackening, which again is a trailer that you sent me, similar to last week. You sent me a trailer and you go, "This is right up your alley." And I take great offence to this whenever you send me something.
Most things are up your alley, though. Let's not talk about what's up your alley. Let's talk about the movie.
And I watched the trailer and I thought, this is going to be another one of them awful films, isn't it? Why has he sent me this? I really don't want to see this. It looks absolutely... Oh, it actually looks really good. And it actually looks really, really funny.
Okay. So I don't send you the Communal Garden or big trailers or brand new trailers anymore, because when I send them to you, you go, "I've seen it already, mate." So I'm like,
This is true.
So I tend to send you stuff outside of the box that I know you won't have been in, like the behemoth of juggernaut of major trailers that you see everywhere. And The Blackening was one of those ones that came up, and I thought, has this been as widely promoted as it should have been? So I don't know. So I sent it to you. What did you think?
So
tell us about it from your perspective.
An entirely satirical,
of course it is,
black horror movie, comedy, all in one box.
The tagline is genius. What do you have the tagline there? I love it. It's something along the lines of, "The only problem we've got is working out which one of us dies first."
We can't all die first.
That's it. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. That was genius. Absolutely genius.
So 7 black friends who go away for the weekend only to find themselves trapped in a cabin with a serial killer who has a vendetta. Will their street smarts and knowledge of horror movies help them to stay alive? Probably not.
I think we have to play the game. In your predicament, the black character is always the first to die. I will spare your lives if you sacrifice the person you deem the blackest.
The blackest?
Nobody should judge anybody in here, bro.
You have 2 minutes to decide.
See?
Wait.
Y'all can't pick me. I'm gay.
Oh, Clifton. Yeah.
I can prove I'm not the blackest.
Prove it.
I've never seen Friday. I voted for Trump.
What?
Twice.
We have to split up.
Your time has run out. It's time to die.
I'm into it.
Yes, it looks really, really
I'm
good.
into it. I'm all for it.
Really, really funny. Again, similar to what we are going to be talking about with Scream 6. It's a movie that pokes fun at itself and its genre, which we're completely into.
It's like, do you know what? That has every potential to be this generation's scary movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
With it, the satire and the lampooning of horror movies and things. Yeah, for sure. That's why I said, I was like, this got something about it. Like, I like it. I think it's going to work out.
That's got a release date of the 16th of June in the US, and we're not 100% with the UK date as we speak.
That will come. We'll let you know. But yeah, that's due in the States. If you're listening stateside, friends, you've got that coming to you soon. UK date to be announced. And then the other one, which we saw again last night.
Lob it up.
Stay still. Stay still.
Now. Oh! Let's try that again, but with ninja stars.
Hey, why did we pick a fruit shaped exactly like my head?
Just stop talking. You're ruining my concentration.
You're fine. Chill. He's gonna die.
Wait, did you hear that? What was that?
Well, nothing we can do.
Right, well, I'm going to talk about the one which is going to put you in a good mood, I think, first. And the one that's going to put you in a good mood, I think, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Which we saw last night.
The Mutant Mayhem.
We saw it on a big screen last night.
We did, yeah.
Good. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy about this because Turtles can be very hit and miss. Cinematically speaking, since 1990, they can be utterly amazing. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, which was made in 1990 in part by Jim Henson's Creature Company.
Or
whatever that last thing was that Michael Bay's people spat out. That thing. Although it was kind of cool to see Krang finally in film. Well, anyway, point being, there are times when it works, Turtles the movie. There are times when it doesn't work, Turtles Secret of the Ooze. There are times when it does work, the animated TMNT movie, which I think was, going back about 10 or so years now. Amazing. And then there's this, and I think this has the potential to be outstanding. Seth Rogen's attached to this, isn't he? Is he directing? Is he producing? How's he attached?
I don't know. They keep calling it Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's that then.
I can only assume that he is directing. I'm literally pulling it up as we speak because he's got an amazing cast list.
Figuring out our age and his age.
So no, he's not. It's directed by Jeff Rowe and Kyla Spears.
Oh, good. That's a very solid sign. Okay, so great.
And it is starring Paul Rudd, Giancarlo Esposito, Rose Byrne, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, John Cena, Maya Rudolph, Ice Cube, Post Malone, and that's just the names.
And this is animated. This is animated.
This is
to be
completely
clear.
animated, and then of course you have the voice actors who are doing the Turtles as well.
Yeah.
So it's got a big, huge crew.
From looking at last night's trailer, and it was nice to see. Obviously, we watched the trailer the other day when we got sent it, and then we watched it again last night on a big screen. And it looked really good on the big screen. I like the animation style. It's telling me already that it's verging between totally suitable for kids, but in parts there'll be some things that might go over children's heads, like in the way that Shrek does. Like, you can totally watch it with your kids, but there are things for you that only you are going to get. I think it has to ride that line. And this is where I think Seth Rogen was the right person to bring this to light, because everything else he's brought to television has worked, right? Any franchises he's delved into, like Preacher's amazing and stuff like that. The Boys as well is another one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that another one he's involved with? Or is that Evan?
No, he is in that. I'm going to risk your wrath here and say that I'm not completely sold on it.
So Evan, no, right, sorry, The Boys, Seth Rogen's involved with that.
Yes, he is,
as a producer. Right,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I had to get my facts straight. So yeah, I'm looking at this trailer and I'm thinking, okay, he gets it. He's about our age. I think he's a little bit older than us.
Yeah.
He gets it because he would have been a child at the time that comics, the Eastman and Laird books were huge. The cartoon show was huge. So, but my point being, when he comes at this stuff, it's good, right? So he's got an understanding of what's come before him. That works. He understands that he's of a certain age, and therefore the audience that grew up with this is of a certain age. So he's got to get past that line. But also he's got to understand that this is firmly targeted also at family audiences. So it's riding that line between making something that we're going to dig in our 40s, but our kids are going to dig too, right? And I think that he can do that.
We can't have another sausage party.
No, but that wasn't for kids.
No. obviously.
This is very much looks like it's about teenage turtles who actually look like teenagers, right? That's the other thing I picked up on.
Them.
They look and sound like teenagers, actual teenagers, but at the same time, I think that's who this is for. I think it's for literal teenagers, but at the same time, young kids and older kids like us, we're going to be into it because he's got 30 years of legacy to draw from. I'm excited for it.
So my boy absolutely loves Teenage Turtles and he watches all the cartoons and everything else. So I have absolutely no doubt that I will be watching this with him.
Yeah, for sure.
As we sit here and speak right now, I'm not sold on it.
Okay.
But I will watch. I will completely open my mind and give it a chance.
I understand your viewpoint because whenever anything new Turtles comes along, I'm very like...
Yeah, there's so much about it. The problem is when you look at everything that's come out in the last few years, like the likes of Sonic, all of these things from the 80s, 90s, all of the things from our childhood. Yeah. And everything's worked. Everything's been really good so far.
And I know how much your boy loves Sonic.
Yes.
I saw that firsthand yesterday, right?
It does, yeah.
But it works. That's what I'm saying. Sonic's perfect. Actually, you've nailed that right there. The example of what I was talking about. Sonic, your boy loves Sonic to pieces. Absolutely loves it. And yet, it's something that was very much from our generation. And yet, we enjoy it as well.
And so we sit and play Sonic on the Mega Drive.
Oh, yeah, you've got a Mega Drive.
Yeah.
It's still the coolest thing in your bar, I'll be honest.
Right,
okay.
Let's move on to our final trailer park. Our final trailer.
Yeah, and Turtles is due here August.
4th of August.
4th of August. It's a big summer title. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Where
I don't know why they keep calling it
it's actually got a subtitle, hasn't it? It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem, there we go. That's coming to cinemas. That's exclusively in cinemas as well. And that's on August 4th. There we go. Summer blockbuster release. Let's go. What's next?
Right, I'm going to do the headline on this one and then I'm just going to let you go. So we have Haunted Mansion coming out.
You're out of order.
On the 28th of July. And go.
Welcome home.
I know this place isn't as warm as I'd hoped. But I'm going to light a vanilla candle, and it's going to be a game changer.
Will it though?
We're out.
This mansion is unhinged. She needs all the help she can get.
You want to be a hero?
Yes.
$2,000. What's the address?
The last one wasn't that great, in my humble opinion. Do we need it again? We didn't need it last time. What? You're smiling at me because you're really looking forward to it.
It's not that I'm really looking forward to it. It's just that I'm not looking forward to it, if that makes sense.
You're unfazed. You're unbothered. If it comes out, great. If it doesn't, you're not fussed.
I've got kids. My kids are 9 and 5. So anything like that comes out, I'm going to be watching it whether I like it or not.
You are. That's true.
I'm going to be sitting there with my kids. And again, we've mentioned this in previous weeks. These type of movies, as much as we like them as adults and we review them as adults, they are made for kids. And now I have sat and watched films which I really haven't liked and I have actively thought is a bad film. Yeah. And my kids love it. And they've watched it again and again and again and again.
Kids like a lot of stuff like that, though.
But this is what I mean. So, as much as we can say, well, this is rah, 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 it's for kids. And I just think, I know that maybe not so much my boy because he's 5, but my girl who's 9 will be into this completely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's great that children will dig it, and essentially it's for them. So I guess that's fine. Yes, from a critical perspective, I do have to look at this from the point of view of the audience, and will they like it? Of course, that's a factor. But ultimately, I have to kind of sit there and go, is this terrible? Yes, it's awful. Will kids like it? Yes, they will. And to be honest, that might be the difference between 1 and 2 stars. But ultimately, I'm not going to go, this is terrible. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, but I must give it a 5 because children really like it.
Yeah.
No, that's not how that works. So you have to be balanced in your opinion and kind of go, it's not for us, but it's great for kids.
I think the other thing that's really wound you up is the fact that is getting a theatrical release and Peter Pan and Wendy is going straight to Disney+.
But we went over this. We know why it's not getting a theatrical release. We now know it's because it's too close to The Little Mermaid. And as we said before, like, The Little Mermaid is definitely the bigger of those two behemoths. Yeah. So that makes total sense now. Retrospectively, it does make total sense now. But Haunted Mansion, look, making things out of I got to have this out with you, man. We can't keep doing this thing where seriously, we can't keep doing this thing where we're going, here comes a massive log down the sewage pipe. Here it comes. But my kids really want to play with it, so it's allowed past. It's like, I know. But there are other things that can exist that your kids will love that is also good.
There are. I'll give you an example of The Mitchells versus the Machines. That was our favourite film for a whole year.
Mitchells versus the Machine is my favourite film of the last
2020. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh my God, that film is so good.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So intensely good. It's good if you're on your own. It's even better if you're with children. Children love it. Adults love it. Classic example. I think, in fact, you've absolutely just bullseyed that, mate. That is exactly what I'm talking about. A film can be 5 stars and your kids can love it at the same time.
And Puss in Boots as well, which is we both agree was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. Works for adults, works for anything. That, like Shrek, the first Shrek, another great example of that. There are so many, like Muppets Christmas Carol's another example of that. There are so many good examples where it can be a good film and good for children. Sometimes things are good. The thing is, though, when I'm rating it on that scale, I have to say, well, I have to be kinder to it because it's for children and actually children really like it. And you're right, it's not for me. And I don't want to be an insufferable bore about it, but you're right, it isn't for me. However, it has come my way and I do have to pass some sort of comment on it. So if I'm going to say some sort of comment on it, I'm going to say, okay, well, this is, but kids like it. But then I could sit on the floor with a piece of newspaper and 2 broken crayons, and kids are going to love that as well. So, by what standard do I judge it? But I just don't think we need. If you'd have said to me on the strength of Puss in Boots, they're bringing us another Puss in Boots, I would have gone, yes, mate. But they were like, oh, another Haunted Mansion. I walked in, you watching a trailer, and I was like, oh. Making stuff out of rides doesn't work.
Always.
Once it worked, Lightning in a Bottle, Pirates of the Caribbean. And let's be honest, that only worked for 3 out of 5 movies.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Right? But it was like, let's make a movie out of a ride. What? And then Gore Verbinski came along and he was like, we're going to do this. And then you had Johnny Depp and you had the cast and crew and Hans Zimmer got involved and everybody just smashed it. That was amazing. And they kept up that amazing for 3 films and then there are only 3 films, right? But after that, it started to sort of sink, to turn a pun. And
you are on fire, sir.
And just then it was like, well, what other rides have we got in the park that we can turn into? No, stop it. It didn't work the last 2 times. It's not going to work this time. And like I said, I've got a bit of string and an LED pen in my bag. You know when you shine it around the floor and the cat chases it? Kids love that as well, mate. They do. In the meanwhile, I'm going to run away now and concoct a list of 5-star films that your children will also love, so there's balance restored in the universe. And we move on.
Right, shall we look at what is out in the cinema this week?
Yeah, let's do it. Shall we preview then review?
Right, let's preview then review. So, looking ahead, we have got 65 coming out from Sony.
I know where this is going.
I think the trailer now we will say the various previews. Sometimes you have to make a choice of what you are going to go and see.
Well, I think when we recorded this, I don't think there was any.
There haven't been.
I don't know for a fact, and Sony are quite welcome to correct me if I'm wrong, and I will apologise now in advance if I've called this completely wrong. But as far as I'm aware, and maybe this just fits the scope of my knowledge, but there wasn't or hasn't been a screening, or I'm not aware of one at least. Maybe they just didn't let me know about one, but I asked a couple of other people and they didn't know about one either. So I don't even know if they actually screened it. But let's assume they did and we missed that. I don't think there was one. But let's just pretend that there was and we weren't at it, which is why we're telling you about it now. And we will, of course, come back around and give you the deep dive next week. But in the meanwhile, you're excited for this.
I'm excited.
I'm on the fence.
I really, really like the trailer. And I've been excited for a good, how long the trailer been out? A couple of months, something like that. I think it looks really good. So Adam Driver is a spaceman. And spaceman, always one.
Yeah,
he's a spaceman, and he is in some sort of, he's doing a little drive-by. He's going for a little cruise, and things go wrong.
The west side of another planet.
It's like Family Guy, isn't it?
Cruising in his 6'4", yeah.
The Star Wars Family Guy with the TIE fighter bouncing up and down. And he crash lands on a planet that is filled with dinosaurs.
Yeah, so
it's Jurassic Park with lasers.
Hence the title 65.
Because it's 65 million years ago.
Adam Driver on a planet, stranded with dinosaurs. I mean, that's essentially it.
That's essentially it.
From the trailer.
He's quite simply, he's crash landed on the planet. Not only does he have to survive the dinosaurs, he also has to fix his ship and take off again without being eaten.
So this is the sort of film I call the Marmite jar, because I'm going to open it up, and depending on what flavour it is, I'm either going to adore it, or I'm going to go, blech. Terrible metaphor. Right, I'm on the fence.
Any worse than Jurassic Park Dominion?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because the last couple of Jurassic World Dominion, not Jurassic Park.
I'm in the middle because this has, from looking at the trailer, this has the potential to be absolutely amazing or just utterly dire. And I don't think there's a middle ground.
No, I probably agree with you on that one.
It's going to be one of those, you're going to watch it and kind of go, wow, this movie has had some attention, but probably not as much as it should have got. And I don't know, we need to go and tell more people about it because it's awesome, because it's proper sci-fi, almost B-movie sci-fi schlock.
I will be happy if it's in the same ballpark as Cocaine Bear, which makes no sense whatsoever, but is a great ride.
It's got, again, we keep going back to Journey to the Centre of the Earth vibes about it, lost in a remote location that's all jungle and trees and forestry and things that want to eat you, and he's trying to survive that. It's like you say, it's got that After Earth it's like After Earth set in Jurassic Park kind of feel to the trailer. Again, we haven't seen it. We may be completely calling this wrong, which is why I said I think it's either going to be one of the best films of the year or one of the worst things we've ever seen. And I just can't honestly, hand on my heart, call it right now. But we will find out
absolutely
over the weekend, and we'll tell you next week. And if you get to see it before us, if you guys end up
absolutely
end up watching it before we do, by all means, at Need a Bigger Pod, let us know your thoughts on 65 across the weekend, and we'll read the best ones out in next week's show.
My name is Marcus Markovich, and I am going to be your basketball coach for the next 3 months.
Nope.
Wait, what?
I said nope.
Is this something he normally does?
Nope.
That's Darius. He's our best player. I'm Johnny. I'm your homie with an extra chromie.
So, moving on to Champions, which is coming out via Universal. I mentioned earlier about sometimes we have a choice. There are screenings on the same night or very close, etc.
Yeah, so we were clashed on this. I think we were seeing Scream at the same time Champions was happening or something like that.
However, a good friend of mine and good friend of the show, Stu Parsons, did go and see it.
Hello, Stu!
Hello, Stu.
Hello, Stu.
And he says that he enjoyed it. Predictable in parts, but a good turn from Woody Harrelson. Good coverage on a subject which probably doesn't get enough attention in the movies or the public eye. Some genuinely funny moments and characters, and a heartwarming emotion throughout the whole movie. Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Stu. Yeah, that's good. So that's Champions with Woody Harrelson. That's from the Farrelly brothers, isn't it? I believe.
Oh, I've no idea.
Or is it Bobby or just Bobby Farrelly? I don't know, but it's from the Farrellys anyway, or Bobby Farrelly at the very least. It's called Champions. Stars Woody Harrelson. That's also out this Friday alongside 65 and Scream 6, they're all dropping on the same day. Well, I say that Scream 6 has been it's moved along, hasn't it? It started dropping early.
They shuffled it along.
Shuffled it along. So, because I think everyone and everything got moved around quite a lot. I think Champions has always been this Friday, but I think 65 got moved up from next Friday to this Friday. And then Scream moved up a bit because 65 moved up a bit because Shazam moved up a bit. So it's all a bit chaotic. When you're listening to this, by the way, it could be any time on any day. But at the time of recording, Champions and 65 both drop on Friday, the 10th of March.
Yes.
So you can see those in cinemas. We will have more on both 65 and on Champions ourselves. We're going to catch up to them over the next few days and we'll have more details for you. So I guess that's preview. Thank you to Stu. That's really, really helpful, my friend. It's good to get a bit of an insight from someone that's seen it. Sounds like it's exactly what I think it's going to be, that movie, which looks both hilariously funny and incredibly sweet.
So I'm just going to blitz through the rest of these that are all coming out.
Yeah, there's some smaller releases. So you'll find these releases mainly in your local independent cinemas. Do check your local listings wherever you are in the world to find out if these are playing near you. But go for it, Paul.
Right, we have Charcoal, My Sailor, My Love, Meet Me in the Bathroom. Oi, oi. Winnie the Pooh.
Wait, back up. Is My Sailor, My Love and Meet Me in the Bathroom the same movie?
No. Could be, should be.
Man, I was going to pre-order.
No. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, I can't wait. I really want to get into this a little bit more. I know someone that's in this, so maybe I might get back to you on that. But I'd love that because this is just it looks twisted.
Yes.
It's been in the press quite a lot. It's to do with the rights with Winnie the Pooh becoming kind of available to anyone or something like that. So they made a twisted, nefariously horrific horror movie about Winnie the Pooh, and I'm into the
Please do not take your children to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Well, if the cinema are on form, they won't let them in anyway. No, this is definitely an adult horror version.
When it comes to streaming wherever it is, it's not one for the kids.
It's not the one the kids watch.
Not one for the kids.
No.
Right, finishing off with The Wife and Her House Husband, The Middleman, and finally La Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom.
Was that a title, or are you having a moment and you need to take a break?
I think it was a stroke.
Okay. Well, what, you're stroking the yak? Is that stroking?
Really not sure where you're going with that one.
Stroke in the yak. No, stroking the yak with My Sailor, My Love in the bathroom.
Are you just looking for me to do my Chewbacca impression again?
Let's not.
This
is you did this in. Oh
yeah. Hangs head in shame.
It was you doing Chewbacca. Sean was the impression off happened. By the way, anyone listen to this? It happened a little. We'll do it properly over Zoom, but we had a little run at it, and Paul was basically Chewbacca trying to be Cocaine Bear and the American Werewolf in London. Because you were on the tube, wasn't it? You were trying to do American Werewolf in London. Any
impression that I do of an animal in that type of, bear, werewolf kind of area, they all end up sounding like Chewbacca.
Does your wife know about Chewbacca?
Does she know about Chewbacca?
Is that no, let's move on.
I don't want to get divorced. Quite like being married, thank you very much.
I was going to say, is that a sound that you make somewhere else? Anyway, but yeah, and then Sean did his Alan Bennett impression, which was quite funny.
Yeah.
And that was a little teaser. Of what's to come.
Just showcasing our talents.
Yeah, but we'll do that. We'll do that on another call.
Right, can we talk about Scream 6, please?
We can talk about Scream 6, but we absolutely promised Paramount at the time that we've recorded this and presented it to you, we are allowed to talk about it, but we're not allowed to spoil it because apparently spoiler casts have got to be saved till well after the 16th. Or no, is it the 16th?
So you do not need to skip on. You don't need to do anything. This is going to be completely spoiler free.
Yes, it is. Either way, we are not going to spoil it because we don't do that here anyway. We're not into that really.
No, I would absolutely not tell you that the killer is. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Stop it.
Yes.
All right. So Scream 6 is directed by Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli Olpin, who did Scream 5. They directed Scream 5.
Which was fantastic.
Yes, and I was very excited about this from the get-go because I'd seen their previous work, Ready or Not is just one example. And I say this every time their names come up. I say to people, if you have not seen Ready or Not, jump on Disney Plus. It's on there, on Star on Disney Plus. Grab it. It's a great, great, great movie. They have directed Scream 5 and Scream 6. I would say we were feeling a lot like this is the middle of 3 now.
I think that's how it feels to me. It feels to me like it's being set up for Scream 7.
Yeah, I think they're doing a trilogy. It feels like they're doing a trilogy. Anyway, they did a very, very good job. For anyone that's seen Scream 5, they've done a very, very good job of that. I know there's maybe some people that haven't seen Scream 5 yet because they kind of feel like Scream was done after like 3 or whatever.
With Wes, yeah.
4's okay. 4's alright. I quite like 4. 5 is top draw Scream. Like, I am so into it.
Yes.
They call it a requel.
Yes.
And so it's, it's a remake and a sequel at the same time. The thing about Scream 5 is it fired on every cylinder and it hit every beat perfectly. Scream 6 carries that on in the sense that so we've now got our 4 central characters who are from Scream 5. And again, I'm going gently about this because I don't want to spoil Scream 5 either, because if somebody's like, I haven't seen Scream 5 yet. Scream 5 is, of course, back in Woodsboro, and which is the famous setting of the setup for all the original Scream films, and that's Scream's home. It's kind of the home of Ghostface now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this moves things to New York City, and this is where it gets interesting. It moves things to New York.
Insert Wombats moving to New York track.
Exactly, because so what they wanted to do was get away from the Woodsboro from a filmmaking point of view, I guess change it up a bit. Well, but they got away because of what happened. They wanted to start over. So our 4 main characters from Scream 5 have now moved to New York City.
Which, of course, follows the same pattern as Scream 1 and Scream 2, with Scream 1 taking place in Woodsboro and Scream 2 taking place while Sydney is at college.
Exactly that. So it changes the setting up, which is really, really nice. And then you've got the 4 kind of main characters, which include what I call our 2 female leads, which is General Ortega and Melissa Barrera, playing the Carpenter sisters.
Who are amazing.
They are. I mean, Melissa Barrera, Sam Carpenter, is very much this generation's Sydney.
Yeah.
And fast becoming so. General Ortega as well, as her young sister, just smashes it out of the park, as she does in everything at the moment. So it's really good to see. I'm happy that we've kept our central female leads. Mm-hmm. They are very, very good. They've got the whole final girl thing, female warrior thing down, and it works to effect. So following their characters into New York City, following them into this new life that they've built for themselves, to kind of get away from the ghosts of the past, quite literally. And then Ghostface shows up.
Again.
It's for you.
Strange that you and I have never spoken on the phone. This is long overdue.
What is this place?
A shrine.
And I think that's about as far as we'll take that without spoiling.
It's so awkward, isn't it? How do you talk about any Scream movie?
Just when you think you've got away from it all, up Ghostface pops again. Of course, that'd be the point. There'd be no movie otherwise. But
can you imagine?
You know what I mean?
Literally just a documentary on the Carpenter Girls.
Pops up inventively, very much so. So what? And again, I'm going to dance around this because it's no spoilers. It opened strong.
Very.
Very strong.
Very strong. Very good opening.
Probably the most ingenious of all the openings since 1.
Yeah, because again, so it makes you feel one way. Oh, that's good.
No. Can't even do that.
Well, then I'm just going to sit here I know. I'm going to sit here in effing silence.
I know. We can't even do that. I know. That's what I mean.
Scream 6 is a movie that we saw at a cinema. We sat down. We had some popcorn. We had some drink. I had a couple of sweeties. That's all we can tell you.
Get used to that, mate. It's going to happen a lot. A lot. So it opens very, very strong. That was one of the things that I really, really loved about it. It opens, I think, in the most ingenious way since the first one. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you're.
But the thing is, part of this whole Scream franchise is it kind of has to keep trying to outdo the last one.
Thank you.
The opening scene has to be more inventive. The kills have to be more inventive, bloodier, gorier.
Yeah.
The killer reveals have to be a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. And
yeah.
it is becoming so difficult to continue to one-up the last one.
Yeah, 6 movies in.
Yeah.
And I get that it's the second for the directors in question.
Yeah.
It's their second one. So not that makes it any easier or any harder, because they are, again, standing on the shoulders of giants. So, but they do this work well. They are very good at this. And so to be able to come to the table, because 5 was by no measure easy, because they were up against 4 other movies, a franchise that had been called getting a bit tired. And so they had to come to the table. And of course, they had everyone going, really? Another one? They had all that to face. I had faith from the beginning. And as soon as I knew they were attached, I had faith.
So I said last night, didn't I, that Scream 5 was huge because it was a make or break movie. If it sucked and it was bad, it was probably the end of the Scream franchise.
And they absolutely knocked that out of the park.
And it was superb.
And that worked. So the challenge with this one is like, it's their sophomore effort, really, isn't it? Because it's their second one, but also the 6th one. Is how do you keep that train running? How do you keep it interesting? And like you say, how do we make the kills more interesting? Moving the location straight away gives that scope to be more interesting. And they do use locations really effectively.
I think so. Before, can we? I want to talk about this because it's in the trailer. So if it's in the trailer, we can talk about it. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it takes place in the shop.
Yeah.
Where you see Ghostface with the shotgun.
Yeah.
And that's a huge scene.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the scene that takes place in the subway.
Yeah.
You know, because they're so key to New York and everything else.
Yeah.
And obviously those type of scenes would not have happened in Sleepy Little Woodsboro.
No, they wouldn't. And you're quite right. And that's just part of the framework of how this movie is set up, in terms of it uses its location really well.
Yeah.
It uses it cleverly for the whole cat and mouse thing that we've come to expect. But also, it somehow successfully manages to make a huge city feel very claustrophobic whenever Ghostface is around. And I like that. That was really good use of tension. There were times when I realised that I was sat forward more and more.
Yeah.
And then I sat back. You probably saw me do that because I was like, I didn't realise I was literally on the edge of my seat. It's got some really great performances. I like that cast. They have come along in terms of, we like them just as much as we like the original crew in the, all the way back in '96. So that's good. They've done that. And we talked a lot about relevance, how this film is very relevant to a teenage audience now and can be seen as something that they would be drawn to, that's fresh and new and exciting, but it still carefully looks after all of us lot that have been following it since 1969. No, but I don't know, the horror genre. I mean, these movies, as you've said many times before, have their... Let's do that again, because I just hit that. These movies, as you said before, have that tongue-in-cheekness about them. They're parodies of parodies, really.
Yeah.
That hark back to the love of the genre. So actually, these movies have been going since Hitchcock's time.
And that's the one thing that I love about these Scream movies, is they are so aware of horror movies. Because how many zombie films have you seen where they don't mention the Z word, like zombies have never existed before?
Yeah.
Scream is completely aware of every horror movie that has ever been made.
It is completely aware, and it always has been. That's one of this franchise's great strengths, is that it's always been fully aware of itself. I think even more so in the last 2 films, it's been even more aware of itself. And they lean into that, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. But yes, bringing fresh faces to the table, as one must with each episode, that works really well in this context. It's good to see some new faces here. And the whole will they, won't they, is she, isn't she, are they, whatever, that works, again, is in effect. And the kills, they just get more inventive as they go along. It's gorier than the last one. Although I looked somewhere, I read it's got a 15 certificate and the last one was an 18 certificate. I don't know how that's worked because it feels gorier. It feels gorier.
Wow.
It may still be an 18.
Is that literally down to language, maybe?
I'm not sure. Like, I'm going to say it's either a 15 or an 18, but it does feel gorier than the last one.
Listen, you go and see Scream 6, you know what you're walking into.
You do, but I mean, there are times where I heard you literally yelp.
Yelp is, I'm a big, strong man. Come on, I'm a manly man. I yelped.
You also said some
naughty words
out loud.
Yes.
Yeah, you shouted actual naughty words.
I did.
When certain kills were taking place.
Yes.
That was interesting.
Dropped an F-bomb.
Or two. But yeah, that was interesting. I'd not seen that before. But the yelping, there was lots of yelping. There was lots of cheering. That happened a lot too.
Yeah.
There's some laughter in some awkward places. That happened too. So, yeah, it kind of gives you an idea of where we're going with this. But, so, I think what we always say is if you are a Scream fan, then this is your jam. You're a massive Scream fan and you are, like, you love that franchise and that genre, and this worked very well for you. I know that. We did, and I think we agreed on this, and I said this before, for a series that's essentially about putting holes in people, they put a few holes in the plot.
In the script, yeah.
Yeah, and that is one of its downfalls, I think. Because for me, it wasn't quite on Scream 5's level.
Not for me. We sat and dissected the whole thing on the way home.
We did.
And each point we brought up made us go, yeah... What about no?
Yeah, hang on a minute.
But then where did they go with no? So we literally sat and analysed it and dissected it on the way home, and realised that it probably does have the odd plot hole or two that doesn't quite maybe work.
I mean, it's got plenty of holes on screen as well. That and again, some holes more than others. And some people still walk away from that, which is a massive bone of contention. I noticed online this morning, I was looking, that keeps coming up a lot. It's like, how many times can one get stabbed before they actually die? Do
you wonder if any of the characters are actually the Terminator?
There's a question. But they're saying that. I had Ghostface, had big Terminator vibes this time. I thought.
Ghostface is always Ghostface. Ghostface is great. What they do with Ghostface is great.
Yeah,
it's just,
for sure.
For me, some things are just crowbarred in there. And they don't entirely work.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic.
Yes.
I love the way it was shot. And like I said, sometimes it feels very big and other times it feels very claustrophobic. It's very cleverly done. I mean, it is a horror movie in every sense of the word. It's the horror movie in which it lampoons and references a lot.
Do you know what I feel like? And I never ever thought I'd say this. You know those Star Wars fans that weren't happy with the last however many Star Wars films, and they banged their hands on the desk.
Yeah, but they're Star Wars fans, and they don't like anything.
And they stomped their feet and went, this wouldn't have happened, and that's not right, and rah, 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 rah. I feel like that. I feel like one of those, but a Scream fan.
I don't think you're at a level where you were stamping your feet going, I'm a Scream fan and I want more.
No.
You enjoyed yourself a lot, and I did,
absolutely.
You were living your best life watching that movie, so I know that it's good enough that it fits your expectations. I know it met with your expectations, but not quite, because as you say, there were too many things that you could see through, and I agree with you. I saw through them too, is where I'm coming from.
What I would say quite simply
By the way, this film is much better than The Rise of Skywalker, so there's not an issue that we have to discuss.
What I would say quite simply is it is not the best Scream film made. It's not the worst Scream film made.
I would quite agree with you.
It's
a lot better than previous entries, but I don't think it's quite as good as 5 or 1.
No, it's not as good as 5 or 1. But it's much better than 3 and 4.
I think that's a very fair statement. There's a lot of fun to be had with it, and I'm actually quite looking forward to watching it again, to be honest. So,
like I've said to you, I'm a huge Scream fan. What I like to do is, I've seen it once now. Over the next couple of weeks, I will look for all the Easter eggs. I'll be online looking at all the different reviews and spoilers and all these bits and pieces.
Yep.
And I will then go and watch it again in about 2 weeks' time, probably with an A4 size pad and a pen.
Should have took that one to last night. Last night was a press screen.
And I'll be there going, oh yeah,
So you're going to take a notepad and pen to the one that you shouldn't take a notepad and pen to, but the one that you should have took a notepad and pen to, where there will be notepad and pens you didn't take.
I'm just a rebel. That's the way I roll. Right, listen.
I do it all from memory. That's called Scream 6. It is in cinemas right now. It came out today, so go and enjoy that. You're landing on
I'm a 3.
I'm a 3.5, so somewhere between 3 and 3.5 out of 5 stars for Scream 6, which is out now.
And so very, very quickly, I will talk Creed 3.
Yeah, let's recap that.
You spoke at length last week about it and your love for it, and I managed to catch it on Friday, and I agree with you. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it.
Good.
You don't remember me, huh? Come a long way from bumming rides from your mom.
Damn. Boy, you had me. Damien.
Yeah, just got back to the hood, stopped by the old gym, but
yeah, we upgraded a couple years ago.
See.
Damn, it's
been a minute.
Really enjoyed it. It's a solid, more or less what we've just spoken about with Scream. It's a really solid effort. It's really enjoyable. It's got phenomenal acting. I mean, oh my God. Michael Jordan and I'm blanking on the name. Help me out.
Tessa Thompson.
Nope.
So his wife is Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, he's only been in every film for the last 3 months. Yeah. He's just next level. He's just next level.
It's the year of Jonathan Majors.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And I won't get into it too much because we did speak about it last week, but I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, a big thumbs up for me.
Creed 3, out now. 4 stars from you, wasn't it?
3.75.
3.75.
I know, that's a ridiculous rating,
I was like 4.5, so I think on average that is a 4, isn't it?
Yeah, no, sorry, you are right. Yeah, no, I gave it a 4. No, you're right and I'm wrong.
Even if you were 3.75 and I was 4.5, that's still a 4 on balance.
No, I would
So
absolutely give that a 4, 100%.
that works for me.
Coming to streaming this week, we have Luther, the Fallen Son, which is out on Netflix.
It's been doing a limited run in selected cinemas. I'm not sure if anyone's had a chance to catch it at the cinema. If you do, let us know at Need a Bigger Pod. It is coming to Netflix this Friday, though, Friday the 10th of March.
Now, coming on March 15th, which is Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? I think.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes, it's Wednesday.
Is Ted Lasso. Series number 3 and
Ted Lasso season 3.
What did I say?
Series number 3.
I got the right number. That was
tomato. Yeah,
so
Ted Lasso 3.
Season 3, and it is going to be the final season.
It's very good.
Oh, I'm heartbroken that it's the final season.
It's probably one of the best sport drama series out there.
Oh, by a mile. Especially when, as a Brit, when you find out the Americans are making a TV show about soccer, straight away you go, it's going to be awful. It's going to be rubbish. They don't do football properly, but it's brilliant. Because, yes, obviously it's got Jason Sudeikis, who is phenomenal, and a handful of other Americans, but it's a British programme. All of the people involved that are doing the football scenes, which I always find horrific when the Americans do it.
I was going to say something about Welcome to Wrexham, and then I realised aren't both Rob and Ryan Canadian?
Yes, they are.
There we go.
Yeah. But listen, Ted Lasso is great. Season 3 is about to drop. I'm fully involved. I'm fully heartbroken that it is coming to an end.
I love you guys so very much.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
I love you guys very much.
Great job. Oh, Rock Kent just said great job.
I would just say check it out. And if you haven't seen any of Ted Lasso yet, go to Apple TV Plus. Season 1 and 2 are on there in full. Go and deep dive into those because it will make your week, I promise you. And
then finally, streaming previews, we are looking at Money Shot, I shouldn't laugh. It's going to be.
Is that with My Sailor, My Love in the bedroom, Money Shot? There was something else. We're I mean, there's a movie here.
Money Shot, the Pornhub story, which is coming to Netflix on the 15th of March.
Look at that. Perfect. Yeah. Perfectly rounded up, mate. Yeah. We've just brought it all together. You've brought it all together, and we've come to a natural end. What are you laughing for?
Boom.
What did I say?
Nothing, mate. Nothing.
Did you say nothing, Gav?
Yeah,
did you say nothing, Gav?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's coming to Netflix on 15th of March, right?
Yeah, apparently so.
I'm moving on before I end up literally not being able to get my words out.
It's what at Netflix?
Yeah. Right.
I hope it's bought wipes. Right.
And I'm not allowed to swear, but you're allowed to do that.
I said nothing.
Yeah.
I just said bring wipes.
Right. Finally, The Godfather 1.
I'm a messy eater.
2, 3, and Coda coming to Paramount Plus. It is an exclusive anniversary box set drop.
Yeah, so Paramount Plus, I don't know if other streaming services are showing them, but I do know that Paramount own these movies, so I know they've definitely got the entire collection now on Paramount Plus to celebrate the 50th anniversary. Obviously, it's been doing a cinema run, and it's had a new 4K box set as well.
One of the greatest cinematic releases of all time.
So it's Godfather 1, 2, and Coda, which is Godfather 3, but Francis Ford Coppola's re-edit. Not remake, he just took the film apart and put it back together again the way he thought it should be and added some things and took some things away. I think it makes it a slightly better film, to be honest, and he knew that, which is why he did it. But all three of those are now on Paramount Plus for you to enjoy. And if you are listening and realising that you've never watched any Godfather movies and you've got Paramount Plus, now is your chance. Spend the weekend on that. I assure you, you'll come back and go, how have I not seen these yet?
So I saw 1 and 2 probably 10 years ago or so, and on DVD obviously, and they're brilliant. And then I went to rewatch Godfather 1 when it came out. When was it? It was 50th anniversary. Was it 2021?
No, that was this year. Oh no, last year. No, okay, 1. No, because this 50th anniversary has actually been going on for about a year and a half, hasn't it?
I went to see it at the cinema, and do you know what? The cinema was packed.
The 4K remaster as well.
The cinema was packed.
Because that would have been the first time it had been shown anywhere in 4K, because they didn't bring the disc out, did they, till after they'd done the cinema run. So yeah, it looked beautiful on
amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Yes, it's a long film. Yes, it's one of those ones that you need to sit down and fully invest in. You cannot watch it while you're doing the ironing or the washing up or whatever else. You need to sit down, you need to fully invest in it. But like John says, I promise you, it is worth it.
Paramount Plus are literally making you an offer you can't refuse there. If you haven't got, please sign up to Paramount Plus, because if you haven't, there's so much great content on there. A couple of times this week, I have to be honest with you, we've had a chaotic 10 days. Has to be fair. Has to be said. Sorry, has to be fair. Hasn't been fair, but it has to be said. And so there've been opportunities to not really. I mean, outside of what we've had to watch, what we have to watch for the show, and our various radio endeavours and whatever, but there have been times where I've had a very narrow window to just sit down, eat something, answer some messages and whatever. And I've noticed that Paramount Plus have been amazing at just having films there that I can just go, do you know what, I'll just put that on in the background. That's a good eat and drink and just get myself involved, like Untouchables and Beverly Hills Cop and all these other great movies. The entire Paramount catalogue is just there. And they keep adding to it. So yeah, check out Paramount Plus if you don't have it already.
Time to get to our big interview.
Yeah. Oh, it's a huge interview. So I'm very lucky. I have to say I'm very lucky, and I'm very grateful to the amazing Tyler Bates, because I think this is our fourth time together. And he's just brilliant. He is a rock star, a musician, a multi-instrumentalist, a composer. He's done many, many amazing things, including producing music with Bush, the band Bush, who are awesome. He's also currently working with Jerry Cantrell on his tour and his album. the legendary Jerry Cantrell, and he's also an amazing composer. He's composed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2. He's composed the entirety of the John Wick films, including 1, 2, 3, and the new one, 4, which is the entirety of the John Wick films, which is exactly what I just said. And the films that you love as well. He's working on the Ty West's horror trilogy, X, Pearl and Maxine, which is the third in that trilogy. He's been busy scoring those as well. He's an amazing composer. He's a brilliant guy. And Sean Wilson and I caught up with him for a new episode of Scoreheads. And we were joined by Tyler's daughter, Lola Colette, who is fast becoming a rock star in her own right. She's following the family business and in the family footsteps, it would say. And she's fast becoming a brilliant musician. She's on Jerry Cantrell's tour, for example. She's also a composer in her own right. And we spoke to both of them, not just about that dynamic, but also about their upcoming films, John Wick 4 and Pearl. It is now a great honour and a privilege for Sean and I to welcome onto this week's show 2 guests for you this week. One being the awesome composer of X, Pearl, and the upcoming Maxine, and all 4 of some of my favourite movies ever, the John Wick movies. A returning guest here with me for his 3rd outing on this show, the incredible Mr. Tyler Bates, and for the first time on this very show, a musician, composer, and multi-instrumentalist that's been making waves with some amazing music and proving that exceptional talent definitely runs in this family. Tyler's daughter, the fantastic Lola Colette, joins us on the show too. Welcome to you both. How are you both doing?
We're good.
Yeah, we're
Thank
good.
you for having us.
We're enjoying, I wouldn't call it that exactly, but we're off tour for about 48 hours. Both of us had some things we needed to knock out here in LA, so we fortunately had a 3-day break in the tour, and now we're here. We're sitting in my studio that's in disarray because it's in the midst of a renovation, but we're here with you and excited to talk about music.
Bonjour, Monsieur Wick, and welcome to La Resistance.
A little far from home, aren't you?
Well, your little act of uncivil disobedience inspired me, John. I'm branching out, spreading my wings. How goes the grand farewell tour?
Coming to an end.
As I understand it, for John Wick 4, both of you have produced a punk rock cover of Nowhere to Run by Martha and the Vandellas, if that's right. I mean, that's a huge undertaking in and of itself. It's such a famous piece of music. I wonder if you could talk us through like the nature of that collaboration and how you alighted on that.
Great question.
That was like it was inadvertently set up. Okay, so at the time, this was about a year ago, I was on tour with Jerry Cantrell, and Jerry and Lola have their own friendship. She sang on his current solo record, Brighton. So Jerry, he didn't ask me about it. He just went to Lola, asked her to be the opening act on the tour. So she was out with her band with us. And then the music supervisor emailed me and said, look, we really want you to go in and demo out these 2 songs so we can determine how they feel in the context of John Wick. They didn't want to just use the originals. They wanted to feel something in like the John Wick mode, right? So coincidentally, 2 days later, we had a day off in New York. My closest friend from here actually built a studio out in New York, and he happened to be working there. I just called him because I talk to him every day anyway. I'm like, dude, are you going to be in New York? He's like, yeah, I'm there now. And I said, can we slip in there for half a day? And he said, sure. The band that he was working with, they said that they would be happy to step aside for us to come in and do our work. And actually, a couple of the guys sat in on the first draft of Nowhere to Run because we had to put together enough musicians. So I grabbed a couple people from the band. I'm like, Lola, you ever hear this song? And she was like, no, but I'll listen to it. I'm like, I need a guide vocal just to send them what this feels like. So the next day we went and cut it. She stood in the room with the live band, drums, everything, and just sang into a mic. And I sent that to Chad Stahelski, and Chad popped it into the cut of the movie, and it just sat there for like 6 months. And then it came time where we needed to finalize the songs. And so he had asked me originally at the very onset of the project if I heard of In This Moment, because he really loves Maria Brink, and I was working on a record with them at the time, and also their new record. So he asked if we could get them to do something. I'll make sure, because they're big fans of John Wick. But then when it came time to address Nowhere to Run, I was thinking, well, that would be where Maria would sing, I guess, on a cover song. He said, who's singing? That's Junior, right? I'm like, you mean Junior? Lola? And he says, yeah. He says, I like her. Have her just nail the shit out of the song when you go in and cut it again. Just have her just throw herself into it. I think she's great. So that came about that way. Maria heard Lola's version and she says, I can't touch that, you know.
Amazing.
I'm better to do my own thing. And she's such an amazing singer and an incredible human. I thought that was such an amazing gesture, knowing how excited she was to be part of John Wick. And then it looked like it wasn't going to happen. And Chad had heard the song that we have in the movie, I Will Die For You. He had heard it right after he had initially contacted me about In This Moment, because we had just written the song. And we played that song and he's like, can we please have this song in the movie? This is so good, because he's such a fan. So it really worked out in the best of all scenarios, because Lola was just doing me a favor, because I needed to provide them a quick demo of the song just to get away from the original. And it just turned out that they really liked her a lot. So
my next question would be, Lola, how are you feeling about being part of the John Wick universe?
I'm super excited about it, and I can't wait to see the final cut of the movie and see how the song plays against the scene, because I have no idea what it's going to look like yet, so I'm really excited about that. And it was such a fun process. We went to East West Studios here in Hollywood, and I was recording for the day with my band on my own music, and we decided to slip Nowhere to Run in there and get the final cut of it. And took my shoes off and just like really got in the flow and just gave it as much energy I possibly could. And I'm very proud of it. So I'm excited that it's in that movie. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what you're hearing in the movie is probably 90% the second take that she did, and then the 10% would have been pulled from the first. So it was like, it's a performance. It's not manufactured. So it's pretty cool that it just went down that way, because obviously Lola was really focused on getting her record done. And she's like, all right, let's do Nowhere to Run. So we just knocked it out. And I thought that was pretty cool. And it's so spirited because we didn't labor over it. I think it's pretty fiery. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Working with Chad, I know you love to work with Chad, and it's very clear that you guys are friends and you have a very clear understanding of each other's artistry. We're looking at the John Wick films. I think I said this to you before, like they are bullet ballets, as I like to call them, in that there's so much work on and off camera that goes into them. They are art. They're not just your average, ordinary, everyday action movie. There's the choreography and how everything is shot. It's just it's beautiful artistry. How do you find as a composer having to come at that, in terms of how it is like a big dance, isn't it, I guess, John Wick? And how do you come to that as a composer and kind of get that magic right when in terms of timing, because timing is so important in the movies as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and you really have to feel the flow of the entirety of what's going on. We just can't be tagging every shot or every action. There is a certain, as you mentioned, almost like a balletic flow to the sequence. Chad Stahelski is a master in multiple martial arts. He's cultured in it. Kung fu movies and westerns are his favorite. This movie has so many heavy martial artists that are legendary throughout the world. I think it's going to really please a lot of people. But I think, at the end of the day, I have to look at the flow of the movie and the arc of the story, and the sound of John Wick just wouldn't be what it is had it not been for the collab between Joel, Richard, and I. Joel is a huge contributor to the sound. He's like a brother to me. And the beauty of John Wick is that it started as an indie film, right? It wasn't an existing property. It wasn't like there was already a comic book made of it or a graphic novel. So nobody was really looking. Like, the expectations, I think, were low. The budget was low. And when Joel and I came on board, it was right when I was finishing the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. This was the first film for Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, especially working as in tandem. I had recognized them because they were in 300. They did all the stunt coordinating, and they were Spartans in that movie. So I'd been seeing them as in the Spartans for a year. But anyway, because they hadn't done it before, they kind of acquiesced to Joel and I and our music supervisor and music editor, Brian Richards, who is no longer with us in this world, but he was an amazing talent and great spirit. And he's still in John Wick. Like, he's a part of it. One of the greatest music editors ever, and a true brother to Joel and I. So I think I think the collaboration between us really helped John Wick, or really was why John Wick became what it is now. And it's been a terrific experience for Joel and I to remain connected artistically because we've been friends so long, and to build on each other's ideas. And so it's been fun. This one was so crazy that there was, again, a lot of triage and needing to get things done fast. And Joel called on Lola a number of times to do some ambient vocal work, like ethereal stuff. And luckily she was there and available and able to record herself, because we just didn't have time to have her in the studio. There's too much to do. So it was kind of great all in all, and seems like Lola understood the point of what we were looking for. So
I also studied with a vocal coach who was on Broadway back in the day, and over the past couple years, she has helped me to access all different types of vowels and notes in my range that I never would have even imagined were there. And she's really kind of molded me into like a switchblade singer, so I can kind of step into any sort of situation and be able to give a piece of music the right tone. And so just even working with scores here in the studio has been like amazing for my own artistry, to understand how to utilize my vocals in all sorts of different ways. So that's been really awesome how it's in tandem with each other.
And I know that obviously the movie opens on the 24th of March, and a lot of people incredibly excited for this, including myself. I am so hyped for another John Wick. I just wish these could go on forever. They're so great. But as someone that's spent a lot of time, I guess, with the movie, Tyler, what can we expect, without spoilers, obviously, but what can we expect from John Wick 4?
Honestly, if you took 3 John Wicks and then just blew it up like popcorn, I mean, it's crazy, the attention to detail in this. I remember reading the script to this movie, and I had to have Google open the whole time to keep looking up weapons, like just stuff I knew. I had no idea what it was, but I think it's really remarkable. I mean, this movie is completely international. There are some characters that you love. There are new characters. There's so many masters of their craft in this film. It's nonstop entertainment. Visually, it's stunningly gorgeous, just strikingly gorgeous. And Keanu's as good as ever. I can't imagine somebody wouldn't be completely thrilled by seeing this movie, especially if you've enjoyed any of the John Wick films.
I'm worried there may be something real wrong with me.
Rumor has it they only take one gal per town.
We're looking for someone with X Factor.
Has to be me.
How about a film nobody else has seen?
Is it legal?
Will be eventually.
I wondered if I might move it on to another thing that we're all really excited about, me particularly, is Pearl, which I saw just recently, and I was like, oh wow, like chef's kiss as far as the music and the aesthetic of the movies. It's so brilliant, and clearly it's a prequel to X, which was a really, really fascinating collaboration between yourself and Ty West. You've now picked up this collaboration on Pearl, and because the score and as the aesthetic of the movie is completely different, and it's fascinating. And I wondered about, this is a fascinating prospect. Like, did you and Ty West kind of have this idea? Did you decide on this idea like early on? Like, what was the process with this in terms of deciding the music?
Well, first off, Pearl came around so quickly because he shot it sequentially with X. It was he and Mia Goth wrote Pearl when they were prepping X over in New Zealand over COVID. And A24 greenlit them to shoot this movie sequentially. And Ty is also an editor, so the guy's a beast. He's such an incredible talent. So we got X done, and then he had a lock picture for Pearl, which lock picture almost never occurs these days. The movie is constantly evolving, and we as composers are constantly trying to fit the pants on the running man, so to speak, right? But
I love that.
But at any rate, Ty came to me about Pearl, and he's like, dude, we need this like in a matter of weeks. And he says, I'm thinking of this style. And of course, you know, that golden era Hollywood composing is really what I noticed first about film music that I liked. I never imagined I was going to score movies in life. It just sort of happened. And my good friend Tim Williams, who's worked with me on the vast majority of my films in some capacity, and he's a very close friend. He too has a deep cultural affinity for that music. So when Ty mentioned it to me, I'm like, dude, the only way we're going to get this done is if I have Tim as my partner and maybe one other person. I said, because this music's very detailed and it's all live. I mean, we couldn't do this with samples. So there was a lot of music prep involved with this, and we recorded in Nashville, which they were great, but it's a different challenge than recording in Los Angeles or in London. Tim did an amazing job, orchestrating and conducting the score. But again, it was just wonderful to be in the process. Ty knows exactly what he's looking for. And in a movie like X, per se, he could be satisfied 1,000 different ways, but he knows what he wants the feeling to be and the overall aesthetic to be. So he's not giving me any dictation. There's no temp score or anything like that. It's all conversational between us. And with Pearl, it was a little bit more determined, what we were going to do and how we were going to go about it, because there just wasn't time for conceptual experimentation. But I think he always knew he wanted to approach it from that golden era of Hollywood music, which is not a literal expression from 1918, 1919, as Pearl takes place. But I think it was a great call. It was a wonderful opportunity to write very thematic material, overly dramatic material to factor into sort of the interesting duality of this movie. There's a little bit of a wink in this film, and we were able to work that into the music. Really proud to be part of it. And again, another movie with Ty and Tim, is one of my dearest friends. So it was a wonderful collaboration. Greg Preckle helped us a bit too. And, Ty and I have established a great rapport because we started with The Sacrament back in like 2014 or 2013 was our first experience together. And I'm excited for the next one.
Let's talk about your relationship with Ty, actually, because you guys obviously get on amazingly well. You're looking at four movies, and when you include Maxine, I guess that's what Maxine will be your fourth title together. Is that right? Or
so long as he doesn't fire me, yeah.
What is it about working with Ty? You guys clearly have a great shorthand. You get on very well. What is it for you about working with Ty, and what's it like working with Ty?
Well, for one, he's brilliant. And he's not the kind of person who's going to act like he's brilliant. He just is. He's a very take action kind of person. So he's an excellent editor. And really, of all the movies I've done, his style of editing is up there with the absolute best of them. He has a great command over what he has to say, and he's very good at communicating his ideas. He definitely knows music, but he is so smart and aware about how he communicates with the composer that he doesn't box us into a corner by giving us literal music references to have to interpret. You know what I mean? If there's something very, very specific, you already start limiting your options creatively because you think you have to come very close to someone else's idea.
Yeah.
And we talk about things not literally in the picture, but we play each other music and have conversations about things that we love. And even if it has nothing to do with the movie, we understand one another's sensibilities greater from having those conversations. But I know like Ty respects his characters tremendously. You know, in a lot of horror movies, we can't wait till they start killing everybody because they're all, we're already just, kind of spiting them or laughing at them because they're not usually the highest caliber people. But in Ty's movies, he's letting us into like their personal journeys, their dreams, their aspirations, their struggles, their self-doubt, all that dialogue. Pearl, her dialogue is all about trying to confirm herself because she doesn't have any belief in herself because it's been completely beaten out of her. And a lot of people in life experience that. They feel like even by the time they enter their young adult life that their aspirations have been shot down, so they don't pursue them because they don't feel that they deserve the opportunity to pursue them. I think if you think about those sort of things and the way Ty is depicting his characters, he's showing you that they're all going through that, and he respects that journey. And we don't ever want to with music create impressions of emotions. Like, we're invested in the characters, so regardless of how abstract the music is, the emotion is true. The emotion is coming from a place of, like, being soulful. Not like I'm into torture porn movies and they're gonna run someone's head over with a pickup truck, so let's score that. We're scoring the character aspect of it. The visuals tell the story. The sound design tells that story. I don't need to triple down on somebody being mutilated or something. I mean, it's silly. So what we do is we try and represent the heart and soul of the characters involved on both sides of the equation, because there is a place where each of these people started with no marks on their record in life, and somehow they're now at these places. I think that's something that for me would be really exciting to see, the consciousness of society to consider that more and more. What is the backstory behind this person, this villain, this horrible person? Now, I mean, Pearl seems horrible, but I feel for her in that film, and certainly in X. I mean, Maxine, you can't help but sympathize with some of her experience.
Yeah.
She doing cocaine is not like The Hangover or something. This is like, it's kind of tragic.
Yeah.
You can tell she's on a trajectory that's going to lead to a dark place, and we don't want her to go there. We're rooting for her to get through it.
We care about her. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not hoping she's going to not make it through this film. We want her to survive, and I think that in part, and a huge part is to Ty, his writing, his directing, and what he underscores or expresses to me is so important about the characters and about the story itself. So it's real easy to chalk it up to like X being like, oh, it's some throwback horror movie. It's totally not. It's a character piece. And if you really pay attention, there's something that all of us grapple with in life, that's going on with each of those characters. So that's really why I enjoy these movies so much, because he knows exactly what his story is about. And that more aptly, gives me all the information that I need to go on and to experiment, instead of being so worried that I'm going to miss the point and he's going to freak out because he doesn't understand music and just thinks I can't write music. He's like, hey man, try it, just go for it, and I trust him enough to know that if it doesn't land, that he's not going to sack me.
He sounds so cool. He's a genius. He's a genius.
Yep, I'm really, really grateful to have the opportunity to continue working with him. So I'm going to do my best.
I just, Lola, to bring you back into the conversation, I wondered, Tyler, when you're working on a score like Pearl, if you're having sketches, like would you like present like a rough idea of a sketch like to Lola to get like another perspective on like how a theme might work, or how it might develop, or something?
Well, if I'm writing a piece of music, I mean, anyone who's written anything understands that as soon as they invite someone else to listen to what they're doing in the same room, things become apparent in your mind. And then when it's somebody that you respect their overall sensibilities and musicality, it amplifies that aspect. So yeah, Lola's a sounding board for me sometime, because she's my daughter, but she's my friend, and she's an artist I respect a lot. So there is that aspect. But like, say we did the show Girl in the Woods, and it seemed very obvious to me that we needed to have a female vocal involved in the music. And I wrote something that is, I don't know why it turned out this way. Maybe because it's the way the visuals were cut, but it's in odd time signatures, and it's kind of changing a lot. And I asked Lola if she could do something thematically that will sort of glue all that together, so that as the audience is taking it in, they're not aware that the the timing changes are happening or the meter changes are happening. I just wanted it to play as music. And so that was the task that I gave to her, and she did her work.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like there are many times where I'll come up into the studio and just because he's passionate about a song or a track that he's working on with an artist, he'll just be like, "Hey, what are you thinking about this? And do you maybe have any ideas of a synth line that could go here or a sound that you want to hear in this song?" And so I always have a really fun time listening to whatever he's working on and giving my 2 cents if I can. Yeah.
Actually, you were just talking about working together. Of course, you're producing records with Lola yourself as well, away from the film space, aren't you? You guys are working on music together.
For sure. Just having a musical parent has really given me the foundation to believe in myself as a musician and an artist. So whenever I write a song, I get excited about it if I think it's good, and I'll send it to him. And when he becomes excited about a song that I'm working on, that's amazing. And when we can get in the studio together and work on it, and I really value being challenged. And there are certain parts and vocal arrangements and things that I hadn't had in those songs. And he would be like, this song could really be elevated by a harsh piano performance or anything in that realm. So it's been really fun working on this body of work together. It's 5 songs that I've written. It's all original music, and I play a lot of the instruments and I do all the singing on the songs. And I have 2 friends that are in a band called White Reaper. They're amazing drummer and bass players, and they recorded on the entirety of the project as well. So it's just been a fun experience to have my friends involved as well as working with my dad, and it's just come together beautifully.
And that's coming out soon, I guess?
Yeah, so I mean, the John Wick movie's coming out, and Nowhere to Run is a really exciting catalyst for just my career as an artist. So I want to capitalize on that and start releasing music soon after. Plan is to release a single. I've got accompanying videos along with the songs in the EP, and by the end of the year, the EP will be out.
So that's Tyler Bates and Lola Colette talking about their work on upcoming John Wick 4, upcoming Pearl. You can hear that interview more in depth on an upcoming episode of Scoreheads, which we're hoping to get out the weekend that Pearl comes out, because I think Tyler's also got Agent Elvis, which also sounds amazing, coming out on Netflix the same day, and then John Wick 4 the following week. We'll talk about all those in due course, but thank you again to Sean Wilson and Tyler Bates and Lola Colette.
Time for our tip top 5, and our tip top 5 this week is our 5 favourite films of 1989.
Yeah, it is. I love 1989. What a year for films. What inspired this was I was sorting out the DVD cupboard, or Blu-ray or 4K or whatever I've bought this time, and I came across quite a few films. Like, I fancy watching that. And strangely, they were all from the same year. Yeah. So I thought that would be a great choice.
As always, it's nigh on impossible to get it down to 5.
We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah,
and you were like,
I think
you got it down to 15.
I went
or
from 13 to 7 to 5, and it was tough. It was really tough. Do you want me to start on my number 5?
Do it.
Okay, I think this is going to be a bit of a surprise that it is only at number 5, but my number 5 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes, I'm so happy that you put that in there.
Yeah, it's great. Again, without ruffling too many feathers, I'm not a massive fan of Temple of Doom. Not a huge fan of it.
It's got a massive cult following.
Yeah, it really
which
does.
is interesting because it's literally about a cult. But
obviously, Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favourite, and then it's The Last Crusade. After that, I really, really do. I love Sean Connery in it. He's the chemistry that those two have, I thought was absolutely fantastic. So that's my number 5. My number 4 is See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
What a choice!
Yeah.
Yes, Paul. Yes, Paul Marsh.
And I will say, I've said this before. I pick my my top 5 on what films do I watch again and again and again and again, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. If I ever come across it, or if I'm ever looking to laugh, that is just one of those films. Talking of a film that I love to laugh at, number 3 is Uncle Buck.
That's a good choice. Yeah.
I love Uncle Buck. John Candy. It's so good. Obviously, a very young Macaulay Culkin. I love it. we watch that. I would say maybe even twice a year we watch that. Great, because it is, again, it's something you can watch with the kids. Few PG curse words from the 80s, which we tend to love. But yeah, and so number 2, this is a film that I watch every single year without fail, and generally a couple of days before Christmas.
Go on.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Which number? Sorry, that was number 2.
That's number 2.
Number 2, yeah. Okay.
Number 2 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is just such an amazing Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's such an amazing... To the point where my daughter, if we haven't watched it and we're like 3 days before Christmas, she's like, Dad, can we watch National Lampoon? Dad, can we watch National Lampoon? It's brilliant. I love it. It's brilliant. And then finally, my tip-top number 1 film of 1989 is Do the Right Thing.
Oh,
it's just amazing. I've got a really good friend of mine called Jamie, and we just talk about this film on a loop. It's just one of those things that every time we see each other, we talk about it, because it's not only the best film of 1989, it's one of the best films ever made, and Spike Lee's first real major shot.
He's absolutely kicking it in that, for sure.
So that's my top 5, and there are big films that didn't even make the top 5.
Yeah, there are. And I'm just looking at a list here, and I'm thinking about, there are a lot of films that I want to talk about, but are they necessarily for me the best films? So how would you get that down? And that's really quite difficult. But what we'll do is and again, mine are in no particular order.
Okay.
Apart from the number 1. Oh, you're right. This is incredibly difficult. Because, like with the Blu-ray collection, I just kept pulling them up going, all that, all that, all that, all that. Okay, well...
Come on, be brave, make some tough choices.
I need to...
Don't do a top 25, don't do a top 15.
No, I'm not doing that, I'm going to, straight off the bat, I think I need to put at least 2 animation in here just to kind of balance the scales a little bit from what you've said. I think Kiki's Delivery Service has got to go in there.
Never even heard
Studio
of it.
Ghibli.
Ah, right, okay, Studio Ghibli. Okay, right, fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, man. Kiki's Delivery Service. What a movie that is.
No, never heard of it, never seen it.
Going to get that in there.
Okay.
You hand your film podcast card in now, man.
I will pop that on my list now. That will go on my to-watch list.
No, I'm kidding. But Kiki's Delivery, it's a beautiful film. I've also got to put The Little Mermaid in there.
Is that at the behest of your other half?
Not.
She was incredibly offended when the picture I put up didn't have Little Mermaid on it.
As you should be. As she should be at your indiscretion, at your not being able to recognise the biggest Disney film of that year. Little Mermaid is a real special film, and I'm going to do this again because we did this with Babe. It's such a special film that I'm incredibly excited for this live action version. There was something. I mean, I was only 10 at the time myself when it came out, but it's just something real special about that movie that I really liked, and I think it's one of Disney's better animated offerings. I think that began, wasn't it? About that time, that began a slew of them, didn't it? Like that was the first, and then there was Aladdin, and that kicked off what I call like golden age Disney. Not obviously golden age would go back to like the 40s or whatever, but do you know what I mean? For me as a child, that was like
late 80s to early 90s.
Yeah, that was golden age Disney. Like that's when you were coming out with the powerhouse ones like Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, and that kicked that off really. So for me, I've got to put Little Mermaid in there. That's right, a grown man at 44 nearly years of age is going to put The Little Mermaid in his top 5 films of 1989.
Very questionable.
I don't think it's questionable. I think if you watch Little Mermaid and you sit there and you go, okay, I mean, you should probably do it with kids around you because that would be less weird. But yeah, I don't know. Enjoy animation at any age. No matter what age or background or gender. If you want to watch an animated movie, sit and watch it. If you want to sit there in your pants at 2 PM watching The Little Mermaid with a cup of tea, do it.
You took it to a dark place. You had to go there.
No, I didn't. There's what in your pants can be American for trousers.
Yeah, it's not though, is it?
In your dressing gown, just go, do you know what? Can't be bothered today. Don't want to go out. Don't want to get dressed. I'm just going to watch Little Mermaid. Why not? Anyway, oh, this is difficult. I was about to say Glory. I'm wondering. This is so hard. Why did I set myself this challenge?
Yeah, this is the funny thing about all of this. It's you.
I set the challenge,
that come up with it,
and you absolutely are on fire when you come back. Last Crusade's definitely got to go in there. It's such a strong adventure film. Connery, Ford. I think you're right. It is the second best one after Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sometimes I feel like Last Crusade I like more than Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that should definitely be a standout. I'm looking, and the reason why this is difficult is because I'm looking at the obvious choices and going, no, I just like it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good. And that's what we're going back to saying about, like, I'm cool that it exists. Films like K9, for example, that's not in a top 5.
That made my top 13 or whatever I said.
Great film.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's one of the best of the year, but it is a great film. There is just so much here. Right, so we've got to what? 2 animated films and an Indiana Jones.
I'm literally looking at, you've got 2 choices left. I'm literally looking at the 2, and I'll be amazed if it's not your 2. Can I preempt or not?
Not yet. Not yet. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think you're right. I think I'm going to completely undo everything I just said. Kiki's Delivery Service is probably one of the greatest films of the year. You're right about Do the Right Thing as well. Very right about Do the Right Thing. I feel like Batman and Back to the Future 2 should be in there.
Right, yeah. That was one of the choices that I thought you were going to go with.
I don't know if Batman's the best film of the year, though. I'd say it was certainly the biggest film of the year.
It's a classic.
But I don't know if it's the best film of the year.
Again, Batman...
I know I've said 5 already, but I'm looking... You
can't... Listen, the feature is called Tip
I
Top...
had 10 last week.
I know! And our listener right now is screaming at their phone. It's called Tip Top 5, not Tip Top 10 or 13 or whatever it is.
There's so many. License to Kill.
Yes, we know.
I don't know. License to Kill's not necessarily... It's just a good film that I like. We're not looking at you.
Listen, this feature is not called Name Every Film from 1989.
We're not looking at you, Karate Kid Part 3. I love you, but we're not looking at you. I think it actually... Do you know what? It's not necessarily the biggest film of that year, but it might actually be the best, and that might be Dead Poets Society, you know? Now that I think about it, I think it might actually be Dead Poets Society.
Does that conclude your list? Is that your number one, Dead Poets Society?
There are a lot of films that I love that came out in 1989, and I squeezed way more of them than I should have done into that last bit.
Absolutely.
You covered a bunch of them. I think between us, we covered all the best ones.
And one that didn't make it that I thought was going to make your top 5 was Lethal Weapon 2.
Lethal Weapon 2 is great. Again, really great film. I wouldn't necessarily say it was the film of the year, but it was a great film. And like you say, there was a good year for franchises. Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, The Karate Kid. It was a good year for Disney. It was a good year for Studio Ghibli. There was a lot going on that year that made that really difficult to choose. It was good for Batman, of course. Batman's definitely up there. But like I said, Dead Poets Society might not be the biggest film of the year, but it may well be the best. And Batman might not be the best film of the year, but I think it was certainly the biggest. Is that fair?
Let me get
I think we got there somehow.
Somehow. All right, that was our Tip Top 45. Right, let me get to some listeners' choices.
I can see him getting really angry over there as well.
I am, yeah.
Which is
because it's a simple task of a top 5.
But if it just went your 5, my 5, move on, wouldn't it be boring as all hell?
No, because I'm reading the listeners out, and that's what they want to hear.
That's true. Okay, no, do that.
Right, so on Instagram, this is a really weird one, but they've obviously done it from their work Instagram. So it's the Seal Pub in Harwich.
Hello, Seal Pub in Harwich.
Yeah, thank you very much. They've gone for Glory.
I nearly said it then, didn't I, as well?
Yeah.
I was like, Glory, there's
gone
Glory
for
as well.
Sally Carrick has gone for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Well done, Sally.
Ali McNiff has done his 5 and he's gone for Kickboxer, Turner and Hooch, Uncle Buck, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Again, another brilliant 5. Well done. I like that very much.
Yes, so that's the Tip Top 5.
And Lily Park, of course, with the Little Mermaid.
And Lily Park, who, of course, said Little Mermaid.
She said the Little Mermaid.
Great offence to me not putting it in my little picture.
Do you know what I'm just thinking? You're quite right. Was that everybody? Did we have any more? Let me just check quickly.
Have we missed anyone?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we got everyone in. But that's some really good, strong suggestions. Very happy with those. If you ever have any suggestions for any of our Tip Top 5s, let us know at Need a Bigger Pod. Or if you want to feedback about anything on Need a Bigger Pod. Do you know what would be quite cool? Shall we set up next week's Tip Top 5 now so that everybody can that's listening can get in touch straight away.
Can I trust you to do something off the top of the dome?
You already had an idea for Tip Top 5. You told it to me last night, and I said it was brilliant.
Well, I can't remember it, so...
Oh, what amazing. You've just given me a lecture about doing it right off the top of the dome.
Yeah,
it was your idea.
I can't... So much has happened since last night. I've done 6 interviews, 3 hours of live radio and a podcast since last night. What was my idea?
You didn't write it down, did you?
No, I didn't write it down.
I can't remember.
Idea?
It was your idea.
Are you kidding me? You said it was a fantastic...
Your idea. I remember saying to you, that's a really good idea. Let's do it.
It's that much of a great idea that I can't remember what you said, and I can't remember what I said.
All right, I'm dropping the challenge right now. I want to know, if you're listening, the top 5 films of Tom Cruise.
Oh,
I've literally off the top of my dome.
You're not going to be able to do that, mate. Seriously, why?
I like cooking myself in hot water.
Literally, you should have just come up with your top 5 films of all time. And because you can't do that. You cannot name 5 Tom Cruise films that you want to put in an order.
I can.
You can't.
I can.
You won't do it.
Not in an order, I can't.
Right, I'm making it, like, to everybody listening to this podcast right now, I am throwing down this challenge.
Okay.
I'm going to bet you a $5, because it's our top 5, I'll bet you a $5 that you cannot name in order your 5 favourite Tom Cruise films.
You can't even say it.
I can't say it, you can't do it.
Right, so if I come back here next week with 5 Tom Cruise films in order...
I will give you 5 of my finest English pounds. It's not happening.
All right.
It's not happening.
Challenge accepted. I have to come back with 5 actual
in order,
films
5
in order.
down to 1.
In order, Tom Cruise films.
Not 10, not 15, not 45. You can't list every film he's ever made.
And if I come in and I don't have them 5 in order, I give you a 5.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Or 1 coffee. It's probably about the same equivalent.
That works for me. All right.
Right.
Challenge accepted. You at home, if you want to send us your 5 top 5 Tom Cruise films in any order you like, because we won't charge you and you won't.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You don't have to pay a $5 to get.
That's a bet between us. But if you have 5 Tom Cruise movies that you want to
that's
put in any order,
a money-making idea, mate.
No, we're not charging. No,
charge $5. It's £5 to get your tweets read out.
No. I was going to say, do I look like, and then I was about to say the name of someone, and Legal's looking at me through the window going, don't even
tapping on the glass
think
of the
about
window.
it, Brown. I know his look. When I look through the glass at him, I know his look. It's just an eyebrow raise and then a deep stare, and it's, Brown, don't even think about that. And I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking about it. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. I will give you a $5 if I do not have my 5 in order and come correct with that order.
And you can't come up with the excuse of my dog ate it, I left it on the side and all the things you do.
It's already there. I'm pretty much there with it. I just need to think about which order they're going in, but I think I've already got them, to be honest. So get your money out, son.
And if Tropic Thunder's not in there, me and you, we're having problems.
Why would Tropic Thunder be in there?
Les Grossman?
I'm talking about when the man brings power to his performance.
That dance.
To be fair, that took some power to it.
That's unbelievable. Right, listen, we're going to end up with another 3-hour podcast, so let's talk GOAT.
Let's talk GOAT of the week. So very quickly, because we are literally running out of time, so I need to do this very quickly. It is International Women's Day at time of recording the podcast. And of course, we shouldn't just celebrate women on one given day. We should celebrate women all the year round, and we will do that on this podcast. There will be women that inspire us and women that we deserve the title of GOAT of the week. I'm going to throw 2 GOATs of the week in the hat this week.
Okay.
Just to bring that back around. I want to celebrate 2 incredibly inspirational women. One is Jermaine Franco, composer Jermaine Franco, who is absolutely flying at the moment. She wrote and co-produced the soundtrack to Encanto, and that we all know how well that's done. And also Stephanie Economou, we mentioned her last week. She's scoring the Robert De Niro movie that you like the look of, but she just won, and I said this on last week's podcast. So Jermaine Franco, has been in a lot of cases actually the first woman of colour to win a lot of these awards, massive awards recently, and more power to her for doing that. But in a lot of cases, especially on her run with Encanto, she's been amassing these accolades, for best music and all this kind of stuff. And she's a huge advocate for women in the film music space, as is Steph Economou. Steph Economou, of course, is the first person to ever win a video game music Grammy in history. So she, of herself, has made history as well with that. and they've been here at the station, not literally here at the station, but they've been here on my show, The Composer Series, many times. I know that they've also done bits and pieces for us, like with the daytime shows as well. Considering they live in LA, that's amazing. They are an inspiration. They're awesome. They are literally smashing the way forward for women in film music and women everywhere at the moment. And I think on the Day of International Women, I could not think of a better two women to celebrate than Jermaine Franco and Stephanie Okonomi. So they are our GOATs of the week, greatest all time of the week.
Don't know why I did a seal impression then.
You're the seal of the week.
I've been called worse.
Does that A mean it meets with your seal of approval, and B mean I can club you afterwards? Hey!
You've literally gone between being on fire and...
It's a good job I'm editing this, isn't it?
Right. That's it. We're done. Thank you very much for listening. If anybody that gets this far into the podcast, we greatly appreciate it. We really, really do. As always, we want your feedback, both positive and constructive criticism.
Please send it.
We want to know what you think, your thoughts, your comments, feedback, and of course, anything that does come in, we will absolutely read it out.
We will. At Need a Bigger Pod on socials. You can, by all means, message us on any one of those platforms, to be honest, or leave us a comment. It's okay. We'll read them out. If they're constructive or positive, we'll read them out. If they're negative and they make us laugh, we'll read them out. So, you know, give that a go as well.
Yeah, if you're going to tell us we're rubbish, then be creative with it and we'll probably still read it.
Thank you very much to everybody involved with this week's programme. Oh, there's been so many. Again, every week, man, we have so many. We have so many. I want to say thank you very much to the View Cinema in Gunwolf Keys, which I'll come back around to in a sec, because they're going to help us out with those films that we missed. Obviously to Universal, they're working on Champions. Sony, they're working on 65. And Paramount, especially Paramount, for inviting us to their lovely soiree.
Yes, thank you very much.
See that. That was cool for Scream 6. And again, thank you to anyone that's got involved with letting us watch stuff far earlier than we should have done. For example, Paramount. Again, it's Paramount's week this week. Paramount Plus, thank you to you, especially for making sure we've seen everything on your channel. We love you very, very much. And Paramount again for the Turtles trailer. It's the Paramount edition of the podcast this week, it would seem.
We're not sponsored by Paramount, however...
At all, we're not endorsed by them, not one bit.
If you want to, we're not going to say
by all means, Paramount, if you're listening to this, please. We love you. You love us. Let's make it work. You know you can do it. And yes, and all the other people that got involved with great content. Thank you to Tyler Bates and Lola Colette for their time. I think there's an hour of that interview to come on Scoreheads. So whatever you heard in this show today, there's way more of that to come. If you want more, check out Scoreheads. That's coming soon via this channel. Thank you very much to the View Cinema and Gunwolf Keys for making sure that we've seen everything we mentioned today and everything we'll mention next week. They are amazing humans and we love them, and they're very good at putting up with us going, can we come this day? No, actually this day. No, actually we're going to come this day now. And they're just great and we love you. myview.com, wherever you are, if you're in the UK, check them out, go and get your tickets there. And to Express FM Studios for making sure that we got from one end of this to the other without being kicked out or anyone staring through the window at us going, come on, hurry up, I've got to get in there in a minute. They're always brilliant with us and they let us use all of their amazing equipment. And if you want to catch us on there, I do the Composer Series on there. And you, Paul? I'm on weekdays from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Thank you to Mason, thank you to Miles, thank you to Darren, thank you to Ian and all the team at Express Studios as well. Thank you to you for listening. It is time for us to go. I'm going to go and catch up with all the things that we said we were going to catch up on right now. Paul's going to go to bed. And I think there's a wrap. Son. Yep, we'll be back next week. Just remember to like, subscribe and share. Oh, I do a rap right now. I love a rap. I really fancy a rap. Do you fancy a rap? What, like a... No, one you eat, you divvy. I'd love a rap, but I can never bloomin' eat them. Oh. Well. Yeah, I know, exactly. Thanks for making me feel even worse. I'm going to go home and eat my rabbit food that I have to eat. What? But who said I was going to not put rabbit food in the wrap? Yeah, but it's the wrap that I can't eat. So you rap terribly because you can't eat a wrap? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, it's time for you to have a lie down, mate. Right. We're going to go. Are we still recording? Yes, we're going to go. Okay. Bye. Oh, you hang up first. Don't stop.